brand new edition of Kick-On's the perfect way, post-footy, to analyse the round ahead with the Goliath of Glenelg and the Sultan of Swan Hill. It is Kane Corns and Josh Jenkins. Welcome, Skipper.
Richo, quiet week, so great to be here. You two always put a smile on my face. Put me in a good mood.
You said that last week, and how'd that work out for us? Sheepers creepers. Still getting emails from the Footscray Football Club. But we're looking forward, Richo.
We are, but we can do some reflection, and we've just blow a little wind up your skirt first.
Because you've been hard on me.
No, I have been, but you're starting to get your head around this.
I am. Look at this. That one got up on the feed, didn't it?
Woo-hoo.
Only 26 punters. That should have been more, but I had a good week on the feed.
You keep doing that, and there'll be many more punters following. What about you?
You had a good week. You didn't have a great week because Kane's kind of getting it, right? So this hasn't been altered. You sent this to us.
Yeah, I did fix it after.
You circled it. Now, it doesn't deserve more copies, Jason, because it didn't win.
No, and I spelt deserved wrong.
I know. The lack of autocorrect is a really concern in that one.
I've been telling them back office we need the autocorrect.
No, we need that happening. Now, can I blow some wind up your skirt too? You've had a big week. You've had a big week. You are our champ in this area. What did you produce? Let's have a look.
Well, each and every week we've been doing the anytime goal scorer multi. The first video went up last week. There's Nick Martin, so we start from Friday night. There's Aaron Cadman, the former number one pick. Took him a while, got nervous. Logan Morris early in the game. No worries. He's going to be a sensational player. Paulie Curtis.
Yes, the bench press man.
Back from suspension, no worries. Murphy Reid, one of the most exciting young players
love him.
in the game. Only needed one. Geordie Dawson, I knew he'd go forward against the Eagles. They've got no chance. So he goes bang, he kicked a couple. Will Haywood never misses.
Oh, man.
You reckon he's underrated?
Yes.
I reckon he's overrated. And finally, Ben Long against the Saints.
Yes.
That, Jason, is 8 goal kickers in 8 games, $12.18. Thanks for coming.
Well done. And 113 punters said in JJ we trust.
Bang.
At $12.18. Okay, enough pumping our tyres up. And you'll notice that there's
Where was yours this one?
nothing to pump up with me. We just
roughies.
charge on to what. So let's start to preview the games. Let's start with the big one. Collingwood versus Hawthorn. So the Hot Pies are 9-2. Hawks are 7-4.
Big names coming back for the Pies. Big names. What they've done is extraordinary with some of those outs. Bobby Hill's going to come back. Sidebottom will be back. Pendle will be back. All of them. But I just think my Hawks, their season is not on the line, but getting very
close to the line.
Close to, you need to show us a little bit more than what you've shown us. Disappointing against Brisbane. I just get the feeling, with a good record against Collingwood, they're going to surprise us with a strong performance.
So 239's a bet?
I like it, head-to-head. I think the Hawks, Friday night, Sam Mitchell, the genius, just needs to pull something out. They've been heavily criticised. You've spoken about the response teams and the teams that are under a bit of pressure and their ability to respond in an even competition. Just feel like it's one of those nights for Hawks.
Yeah, it's a big night for them. I've been looking back through their games, and sure, they were good in Darwin against Gold Coast, but ultimately I don't think you can say you played really well if you don't win. It's a long time since I reckon we've seen Hawthorn play a complete game for 4 quarters or dominate a game for a long time, maybe back to the Launceston game. And this is the part of their game that was so crisp and so clean last year. Like, Amon is just dawdling through the middle of the ground. What's he doing there?
I don't know. And then, so this, particularly in the third term, I think they left 4 or 5 goals out there. That's why it gives me a little bit of confidence that clean this up, which has been such a strength for them, and they can get their game going. And then the flow on of feeling good, you're kicking goals, you're high scoring, then everyone gets involved, everyone's running. But the amount of times they turn the footy over, particularly in the third term, and Brisbane, as you see, made them pay. So I think it's correctable, the issues that they've got. And I think they'll be able to correct that.
What about the skipper? You worried about him? You had him on the agenda a few weeks ago.
I did, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of criticism over him. Now, whether he is sore, that's obviously what everyone talks about when champions aren't playing well. So there's the numbers. Mainly been his ball use.
Yeah, the efficiency.
Yeah.
He just looks vulnerable in all aspects of the game too. Just even looking at him, he's never been a super body language guy. He's always had the tendency to sort of look down and out, but just he looks unsure of himself. He looks really nervous ball in hand. He looks nervous in contests as well. Aerially, he's been such a dynamic player in aerial contests. Even when he's playing on bigger players, it hasn't seemed to worry him. So it's an interesting proposition. The talk is, maybe does he go forward and try and reset himself in terms of form forward? I thought there were signs in that game against Brisbane that he was starting to get back to some good form. So I'd hang tough.
He took 4 intercept marks in the third term, and I thought the one-on-one stuff, he looked okay. So I would leave him where he is. Harder to get a kick forward than it is back. So I would leave. I just feel like, you know, they talk about at Hawthorn when it was Luke Hodge or Sam Mitchell, who's the spiritual captain.
Yeah.
And you always thought it was Luke Hodge, even when Mitchell was captain. I feel that way with Will Day. I know he's not out there. I feel like Will Day is the spiritual captain of Hawthorn and not James Sicily. And maybe that's hurt him as well, because so much of the leadership responsibility is on James Sicily with Will Day out of the side. So I think that's affected him and a bit of that body language.
I think that efficiency too. He looks like he's kicking very cockily.
Yeah,
he just goes for
arrogantly.
He goes for these ambitious kicks.
He has that style, even when he's kicking well. Like, you can accuse him of sort of being overly confident with the way he kicks the ball. He's got great touch, so sometimes it can look like that. Dylan Moore's the other one, All-Australian half-forward flanker last year. Like, his form's dropped off as well.
Had him on notice a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and he hasn't responded as yet. He's always one I'm looking at when you're looking at 2+ goals. Dylan Moore, prolific goal scorer, incredibly difficult matchup. Is he the one that can get off the chain? Across the board, his numbers have dipped. Maybe that's the attention that the opposition is showing him because he's an All-Australian. But I think he can work his way through that. Maybe some centre bounce attendances. Sam Mitchell needs to probably get more creative with those who go through centre bounce. And I know you want Nick Watson to go through there. So they've got a bit to work on. And if they can't fix it, they'll get found out, because this Collingwood defence is unbelievable.
Can they still win at the Hawks? Can they win the premiership?
I'm just wondering whether maybe we've advanced them. Maybe we've jumped them a cog. Maybe they're not quite ready to jump up into the contenders' cog.
A year too soon.
Yeah, but I think that's be disappointing, because when you win a final in the fashion they did last year and finish the year, and then you go and get Barras and Battle, and then you get the youngsters having another pre-season, I think they should have rightly been in that conversation. So I'd be really disappointing if they're not there on prelim final.
Huge game, massive game for them.
Well, on behalf of the Collingwood fans, they're going to say, can we start talking about us? Who matches up on the day course? What do you do? How do you shut them both down?
I'm not as worried about Josh, but I am worried about Nick. I'm not as worried about Josh. I think you can expose him the other way. So I think Hawthorn have a number of small forwards that can be dangerous and expose him the other way, because I don't think he defends that well. But Nick I'm worried about. So does the finisher, Finn McGuinness, my man, go to him, play a full game and just lock him away like he has done in the past? Now, if he does that, Nick will go more forward, so you might like to have a look at his goal-scoring market if you think they're going to try and exploit him forward. But Nick's the attention, and Josh, I think you try and exploit and expose the other way.
I would give great attention to both. 69 disposals last week between the two, 44 in the second half.
Wow.
Alarm bells before the game when Alistair Clarkson said, no, system, we're not going to worry about the Dacos boys. We know they're good players, but you can't tag them. Well, alarm bells. And if they had have tagged Nick in the last quarter, they would have probably won the game. I would go after both. Yep. Now, Hawthorn have got enough players, particularly guys that can run, and they've got those half forwards. If you want to challenge Josh offensively and make him defend, Hawthorn have got a perfect blend of Ginnivan and a few others who can do that. So I reckon you've got to sit on both.
Now, you're putting a player on notice from the Collingwood Footy Club. Who are you putting? Who you got?
Well, I'm number one fan of Dan Houston, and I just thought
sense of butts coming on.
I thought it was a great acquisition, and I pumped this guy up and the recruitment of this guy more than anyone, and I was so flat that he left Port Adelaide.
Enough of that.
But he can't touch it. He hasn't touched the footy all year since about opening round or round one when he was pretty dominant against Port Adelaide. He has not touched it. So 25, $7. He was doing that every week last year. Like $7 for 25 disposals just because he can't get the hands on the footy. So, I mean, he's not doing anything out of the ordinary poor. He's just not influencing and impacting games.
You'll know about this. We've got to move along. But Jasper Pittard made an All-Australian squad. Darcy Byrne-Jones was All-Australian. Houston twice. And
he's a jewel.
Rosie couldn't touch it and went to this halfback role that Houston made All-Australian. Did the role that he played at Port Adelaide maybe make him look better than he is?
No, because I saw him play as an inside mid, I saw him play wing, and I saw him play half-back. And the thing about him as a half-back, he's not just a stat-padding half-back. He was very good one-on-one. He's a good intercept mark and a terrific ball user. So I think he is more than just a get your cheapies across half-back type of operator. but I just haven't seen it this year. And I think for Collingwood, who are flying, this is another area that they can go to another level.
So they could even improve, if you don't mind. Sydney versus Adelaide. Sydney are 4-7 up against your beloved Adelaide Crows, who are 7-4.
My beloved Crows are going pretty well. Tough road trip, of course.
No.
Not anymore?
No, I'm not.
Not anymore?
There's no excuse. No, win.
Right.
Win.
Just win?
Vulnerable Sydney Swans, all but gone. No, Adelaide are yet to really go and get it done.
Yes.
So go and get it done. Look at their numbers. They can't score. Sydney, they're number 1 last year, number 13 for scores. Everything is dropped off. Clearance scores. Their forward half game. Look at that. Points from forward half turnovers. First last year, second last.
He's angry
at the moment.
Dean Cox is angry.
Well, as he should be, because they're going terribly. So Adelaide, my Crows, no excuse. Go to Sydney, primetime standalone game, Saturday night footy. Go and get yourself your first trademark win.
Oh, I thought, so they rested Taylor Walker, so he'll definitely come back in. But I did like Adelaide using Pedler. So he came in for his first game of the year, and I loved Berry. Started centre bounce after being the sub 4 times this year, Sam Berry. I just hope my man, Tex, coming back into the side, isn't at the expense
You're
of
death
Pedler,
riding him.
of Pedler or Berry, because I just think they are the future of the footy club. High draft picks, particularly Pedler. Tex has probably got 1 or 2 years left, so I just think you invest in the youth. Understand he's going to play, but that's a watch for me.
Actually, have a look at the graphics. Sydney to finish bottom 4. You put this on the agenda.
Well, I didn't, not for bottom 4. Wasn't
Well,
quite.
hang on. It's $10 bottom 4.
No, you got your Port Adelaides, you got your St Kilda,
Is that an
you got
error?
West Coast, you got Richmond. They're not finishing bottom 4, but they're not winning the flag or making the 8.
No, they're not making the 8, as some of us may have predicted, Jason.
Melbourne 5-6 versus St Kilda 4-7.
In the Alice.
Yes, that's right.
Melbourne are good in the Alice too. Gave us a fearful beating in the Alice one day, the D's. And they're back to some of their best footy.
Yeah,
so
really good.
some of their ball use inside 50, what has been absolutely plaguing them for the best part of 2 years, now looks to have sorted itself out. You know, moving some players around. You know, Windsor and some of the young guys, Langford, that have come into the team, have given them the spark they've needed, and it's rejuvenated some of the older guys.
I think they've left their run too late. I
Agree.
don't think they're going to make the 8. Just
Halfway
because,
through,
well, if you look at the top 8 now, it does look reasonably set. I think Fremantle and the Giants probably fighting it out for that 8th position. But Cozzy Pickett,
Oh, boy.
what a move for
What a
Cozzy.
player.
Like, just the most watchable player in football right now, off the back of a great coaching move from Simon Goodwin. So look at his numbers last year, 30% centre bounce. Look at it now, an extra 30% centre bounce. And what that allows him to do is some freedom and a nightmare for the opposition. He's still doing his damage in the forward 50 in the front half of the ground, but he starts centre bounce, gets a mismatch, goes forward, and one-on-one is an absolute nightmare. So absolutely smack bang in the All-Australian conversation, this man.
He's an absolute beauty, isn't he, Cozzy Pickett? And Melbourne have to do whatever they can to make sure he stays.
That noise has gone away a little bit.
It has gone a little
You know what they
quiet.
have to do, Richo? Just contracted Cozzy. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah, thank you.
So
Simple
I
as
don't
that.
care if you're homesick. You are contracted. You signed it. We'll address that in 2 or 3 years when your contract expires.
Simple as that.
Simple. Done.
Mate,
Problem solved.
You couldn't afford the pay cut, but you should be a
footy
list
GM.
manager, a future GM, if you don't mind. Hey, can we talk about the Glory End, which is your particular specialty?
Yes.
The Coleman Medal. And my man, Jezza, you didn't have as a power ranking top 5 at one stage.
He's been in and out.
10.
He's been in and out. Well, because I knew that Dangerfield was getting in his way. We get rid of Danger. My
Bang.
man Danger is out in the boat fishing, and all of a sudden, 13 goals in 2 weeks, top of the Coleman. Thanks for coming.
Could Jamie Elliott be valued at $41?
It's amazing season what he's doing. So no, I don't think so. But 28 goals through this part of the year. That's how,
You'd do worse than have $5 on it.
Yeah, exactly right. It'd be unusual for a player of his height to win the Coleman.
Hogan gets a beautiful matchup this weekend, so he might be 6, 7, 8 goals this weekend against the Targs.
And how good is it to have a big forwards kicking a bag?
Yeah. Oh, look where he's playing. Look at that, Jason. Read that out for me. Where's he
I
playing?
always get scared when you call me Jason.
100%
forward.
As a forward. Against the Dogs, James O'Donnell, very nervous, twitchy, ball in space, out the back, you know, heating up at the footy, and that was a difference. Jeremy Cameron basically won the game for him because he's a gun full forward.
Joshua, we've got to get to the shot clock, and the shot clock is right there. I'll start with you. Can the Mighty Blues fix and save their season?
I don't think so, but their next 4 or 5 weeks is soft. So
Yeah.
I think they probably win their next 4. They get to 8 and 7. It's a different conversation that we're having, but they're in it to win the premiership, not just to make the 8, and they're not anywhere near that discussion.
No chance. You know why? They have not got an elite kick in the whole team.
Yeah.
Not one. And the numbers this week have come out, about how poor their kicking is. You don't need the numbers to know that they're not a great
Nick
kicking
Newman's
team.
hurt them.
Yeah.
And the leg speed that you showcased on
They
Agenda
can't
7.
run.
Oh,
Richard, they're stuck in quicksand. I don't think it's an effort thing. I think they're trying. I
Yeah.
just think physically they actually can't run.
Their treadmill's stuck on 5 and it needs to be up in
It needs to be
10
with
plus.
me
More
on your 17s and your 18s with 2% incline.
That's exactly right.
Don't even know what he's talking about.
North has 2 wins at the moment. What's the pass mark, JJ?
I had them at 8. I had them 7 or 8. I genuinely thought, now maybe we forgot they only won. What did they win last year? 3 games, I think it was. So maybe we forgot how bad they actually were because we were caught up in the honourable losses. But I reckon they've been incredibly disappointing.
Now, I'm in the middle of mending some relationships with North Melbourne.
You are.
But
Well,
I'm
they are.
incredibly disappointed that they are sitting where they are in the bottom 2 again. Bottom 2 last 5 years.
Yeah.
I had them at 7 and 8 as well. I still think they can get to 7 and salvage something out of this season. Their back half of the year is going to be a lot better than their front half.
But then at the end of that sentence, you say, but I love and respect them and I really are barrack
Correct.
for
And
them.
I'm looking forward
Shot
to
clock.
shaking hands and kissing.
Shot clock.
Is it time to celebrate and send off Ken? Hinkley?
Yeah, yes. But that time should have been at the end of last year. So this isn't a hindsight thing. We all said it. We all said this succession fiasco was going to be a disaster. It's been nothing but a disaster. Send him off on the right note.
Now?
Pick a
Or the
game.
next-
Pick a game in the next week or 2 and say, this is when it's going to end, and let's celebrate him in the lead up to that.
But does Josh Carr want that, or is he
That's-
enjoying the
yeah.
shield that is Ken Hinkley now?
What happens if Josh Carr takes over and they go 1 and 7?
well,
Correct.
Josh,
What sort of momentum do you not have going into the
and
summer?
I think for Josh, I'm not sure he would want that, but I think when you're in that position, you do the best thing for the footy club and for Ken, who's been great, and I think the best thing is for Josh to take over at some point in the next week or so.
Are the Bulldogs bottom 6 a worry?
No, I don't think so. They've still got a couple of players to hopefully come back. I know Waitman's not coming back, but Darcy will be back, and Treloar hopefully at some stage will be back. I think they're okay. The question mark maybe is more around who have they beaten. So overall, are they as good as we thought they were?
They haven't really beaten anyone. I think
No
the Giants,
scalps.
their Giants is the best, but in their losses against good sides, they've been
Really good.
close losses. That you could have made a case. They're stacked. I think Sam Power, their list manager, is a genius and has done a brilliant job building this squad.
Are Richards and co, this is wrong, costing Bont to Brownlow? He missed about 8 weeks. Bont's not going to win the Brownlow.
He's the,
Maybe Bont's costing Ed Richards a Brownlow. Maybe you can flip the question.
But
Correct.
he's the most unlucky player. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's Lee Matthews or Wayne Carey. But he's in the conversation as a player that is so unfortunate not to have won a Brownlow. I wish he'd won one. He deserves one.
Big price.
34. Yeah, but he's missed so much footy. He's not going
Well,
to
who
win
do
the
you
Brownlow.
think's going to win the
this
Brownlow? No, don't say Cripps. Cripper.
year. Cripper won't be winning it this year. It'll be Jay Dacos or
And
Anderson.
Dacos, you mean?
N. Dacos or Jay Dacos. They keep mixing around with those votes. Quick break. You're watching Kick-Ons. All right, team, you're watching Kick-Ons. Hope you're enjoying the show. Let's start talking about the Suns v Freo, and these mighty, mighty Suns
Yes.
are 8 and 2 at the moment. Unbelievable.
And with a game in hand as
Yeah.
well, just sitting pretty inside the
Incredible.
top 4. So what? And I just like the fact that there's a bit of attitude, a bit of arrogance, a bit of a hard edge.
Substance.
Yeah, publicly coming out and whacking the Saints this week. All 3 of them, Hardwick, Mark Evans,
Yep.
Sam Collins, all had a crack. We're not copying that. So I liked it. And I like the defensive unit
Yes.
at the Suns.
Yep.
And the most underrated player after Will Hayward at the moment is this man, Will Power, because what he's doing defensively and the scalps that he's
Look
taking.
at those scalps.
They're good numbers.
So Watson got him early in round 10, and then in the second half he hardly touched it. Jack Higgins, no one's kept him goalless all year, and he's just done that. So he's taking the big job.
Well, that's good, but I see your willpower and I raise you a boat.
No.
Look at these scalps. Undersized against Oscar Allen, Darcy Fogarty, took Zerha to the cleaners. Your man Will Hayward couldn't even draw a footy
Righto.
against him, and Cam Rayner goalless as well. Hewland, now you All-Australian selectors, if you've got any idea, which I question, Jason,
Careful,
he
Joshua.
has to be in the conversation.
Don't compromise our man.
Yeah.
Put Hewland in the conversation, please. For the love of God.
A Freo, a chance. They've been travelling quite well up against a Gold Coast Suns team who'd be a bit of fat cats at the moment. They've had some nice wins.
Yeah, I think so. I think with Alex Pearce now eligible to play, that was a huge
Thank
one.
God.
I think he's been in really good form. So yeah, I think the midfield battle is really interesting there. Luke Jackson now as the sole ruckman, which he should have been 2 years ago. They've finally worked that out, and that's given him a huge advantage. But what a midfield battle! It's
Big good game.
The game, yeah, one of the games of the round after Collingwood and Hawthorn. This is the second best game of the round.
I reckon the line, if I look at $3.05 Freo, I think the line would be enticing.
Nice.
I think they might push them. GWS 6-5 against the Tigers 3-8, and how brilliant. Our collective man in Toby Green.
We all picked it. Toby 250. We all got on board.
Obviously. And I mean, we thought the Giants would beat your struggling Blues, but he just gets it done. And have a look at the different ways. So 4 times this year he's kicked 3 or more goals. He's only been goalless twice. He gets involved almost every week, score assists, and he gets so much more of the footy than most forwards who play the game. So he's just an all-around player.
I'm not sure anyone can go, okay, well, our team has got some injuries for the midfield. No Callaghan, no Canelio, no Kelly. I'm just going to go play midfield. And then if they're back, he'll just go and play forward. Does it with a minimum of fast, terrific leader. And I did love the way that everyone spoke about him during the week.
Brilliant.
And the influence that he's had.
He's come a long way as a player, hasn't he?
As a person.
Yeah, person. That's the right thing to say. I reckon Toby maybe 3 this week against Richmond, probably gives a few off. I reckon big Jesse Hogan 6, 7. He might just fill the belly right up.
Loves a bag, Jesse.
Yeah,
he loves a big bag. He's kicked 9s, he kicks your 7s, so he can go big when he goes big.
And Lockie Ash, talk to me about Lockie Ash. What ratings are you doing?
This guy is a gun. I mean, he's a pick 4, I think, from memory, so he should be this type of player. But he's been so good that last week the Giants said, well, we'll move Whitfield around because he's been our man down back for a while. Put him ahead of the ball and around the ball. Lockie Ash has been one of the best hard-running defenders too. He takes the game on, Kane. He doesn't kick it sideways. He runs at the game.
Nah, he's been a weapon for them. A great find.
So $3.50, but not compromising.
I reckon he's got to be in the... I know we've sort of got to put the glass up.
Don't even look at him, mate, when you're talking about this. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching Kick On's headlines and, of course, the Footy Trip Fund up next.
Yes.
Papers have landed, Josh.
Yes, the pride of South Australia. I said it earlier. Adelaide Crows go to Sydney and knock off the vulnerable Swans.
Just win, baby, and the genius. Just don't doubt my genius. I think he gets it done again.
Which one's that?
Friday night. Sammy Mitchell, which one?
I've got one, a shock. The Eagles will scare the Fat Cats.
Well, what does that mean?
On Sunday.
What's a scare mean?
Geelong will get there and all happy with
kick the first
themselves,
goal.
and the Eagles will
What's
get
the
within
margin?
about 3 goals of them.
Really?
Scare the pants off them. Just remember who told you. Footy Trip Fund, you still have it.
How bold of you to get within 3 goals. So here we go. We're going big once again. I'm going to lean in. Dylan Moore, anytime goal scorer.
Kick.
Jesse Hogan will kick 4 or more.
Kick.
There's no doubt about that. Surely the Crows just have to get it done.
it.
And then Oliver Dempsey to kick 2 goals from that wing against your scary Eagles.
Mate, you might as well go and collect that. We are home in our
I don't
Footy
think you're
Trip.
allowed to say that anymore.
We're just joking. Okay, now our multi, what are you doing?
Yeah, my multi, I'm going for the genius. I told you. The Hawthorn Footy Club just have an upset win there.
Ooh, okay.
Suns 1-39. Freo will keep it close.
And I can't believe Melbourne's line's only 11.5 to defeat St Kilda. Let's take the line, multi them in together at
There you go.
$9.50.
Come on.
You're away next week.
I am.
Oh, my God.
Unbelievable.
Who's sitting
Follow
in
us on
this
the
chair?
feed. And I'll tell you what, we're going to swap
An
like
upgrade?
for like.
Like
Don't worry
for-
about that. So you have the weekend off, Jacko, to that
Bevo's
lumber jacket on. Hope you enjoy the show. See you next week.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.